Okay, so this is 2020 O-Level Math, paper 2, question 2. And this is a matrix question. So let's read the question first, right? So a holiday club is open for a morning session and an afternoon session for 5 days a week, 5 days each week, right? Each child attends every day for either the morning session or the afternoon session. So there's only ever, there won't be duplicates, it seems. Then a child, the children are split into 3 groups, P, Q, and R, right? I should probably highlight this. Either morning or session. So it means that there are no duplicates. No duplicate children. Then matrix H shows the number of children in each group in week 1, right? And they've also labeled the rows and columns for you. So for P, Q, R correspond to each of the following rows here. Then morning, afternoon correspond to the P, Q, R corresponds to the following columns. Morning, afternoon correspond to the rows, right? Then the matrix B shows the number of boys in each group. And again, they correspond to the columns and rows. So PQR corresponds to the columns and morning, afternoon corresponds to the rows, right? So this represents number of children in the morning, this represents number of children in the afternoon. Okay, so from this, I hope you can tell, it's very straightforward how to find the number of girls attending in the afternoon session. So for specifically group Q. So group Q, right, we will look in this row here, this column here, right? And we want afternoon session, right? The afternoon session. So we want to look at row 2. So column 2, row 2, right? We can see that the total number of students in the afternoon in total, right, is 16. And the number of boys in the afternoon for group P is 9. So the difference must be the girls. So it will be 16 minus 9, which should be 7. So this is a very straightforward question, right? Next one is each child is charged a fee for each session. Session fees are $30 for group P, $20 for group Q, and $24 for group R, right? And they want to represent this fee in a 3x1 column matrix F. So 3x1 here stands for 3 rows and 1 column. And really, they could be in any order, but they probably want it such that it is R, then P, then Q, then R. Why? Is so that we can then multiply it into H later in the part C of this question. But remember, they want a 3 row by 1 column. So we give them a 3 row, so row 1, row 2, row 3, by 1 column matrix. Okay. So next is, they want to evaluate the matrix of M, which is the product between H and F. So this just means the product between H and F. So I want to remind you guys on how we multiply matrices. So how multiplication of matrices will work is that first is the number of columns in the number of columns, right, in the previous row. So this is a 2x3 matrix. Needs to correspond with the number of rows in the column that you want to multiply. Meaning that these two numbers, right, need to match up. If they do not match up, they will not be able to multiply. Okay, and then the resultant matrix that they return, right, will be the two numbers here. So it will return a 2x2 matrix. Okay, so we first need to make sure that the number of columns in the first matrix you're multiplying equals to the number of rows in the second column. After we are done with that, the matrix multiplication will be as follows. So I'm going to erase to show you the ordering. So first is we are going to take the first column, right? And it's going to multiply row by row. Sorry, for the first row, and it's going to multiply column by column. So ABC here will multiply with ABC here, then by DEF. Okay. Then afterwards, DEF will multiply with ABC, then by DEF. So how will that work? The first ABC times ABC will be written as the first item in the first row. Then the next multiplication, ABC and DEF, will be written in the next column of the same row. And then we repeat for the number of column row multiplications, right? So how would that be applied to this question? So we have a 2 by 3 matrix, right? 2 rows by 3 columns, multiplied by a 3 by 1 matrix, 3 rows and 1 column. So can we see that the row and the column of the column and the row for the two matrices match up? And we can tell that the final result will be a 2 by 1 matrix. So that's the first thing you need to know. Next is how the multiplication will carry out. So each row of my first matrix will multiply to the column of each of the matrix, will multiply to each of the columns in the other matrix. And then the result is added together and written as the first element of the first row. Then repeat bottom here for this row, right? And then you get the second element. So this would be the final matrix. If you wish to go and work out the intermediate step and how we find it, it'll be like this. So it'll be first row times first column. So 12 times 6 plus 16 times 24. Okay. Then next one, it'll be 14 times 30 plus 16 times 26 plus 20 times 24. And you should get the two elements listed there. Okay, so this is how you multiply matrices. Okay, so the next one is state what each of the elements in M, which is the matrix we just found, represents. So follow this statement kind of exactly because there's a format to write it. So what we did was we take H, which represent the number of students, right, that went to the morning and afternoon session, and F is the cost of the class, right? So it means that for the two values here, this must be the total cost, right, of in the morning, and this must be the total cost in the afternoon. So we write as the amount of fees collected for the morning and afternoon sessions, respectively. Keyword here probably being respectively, because it shows that each item in your matrix corresponds to morning, afternoon. Okay, next. So calculate the total amount of fees taken by the club in 1 week. Since the club is in session 5 days a week, and every day they collect $996 in the morning, $1,316 in the afternoon. So this is the amount they collected in 1 day, and they are open for 5 days. Therefore, take 5 times 996 plus 1316, we will get the total amount. Okay, I hope this is straightforward. Then lastly is the question on percentage change. So if the children attending the group P increased by 50%, so this would mean that there's 150%, which is equals to 1.5, right? So if you convert percentage to decimal, we just divide by 100. This increases also by 50%, the students in group P. So it will be 1.5 as well. And then decrease by 75%. So it will go to 25% and it becomes 0.75. Okay, we're going to use these changes to go and help us find our final value for week 2. So all we do is this, right? This number in front represents the change in students. So this, we have 24 students, right? And it increases by 1.5. So we times 1.5. Same thing here. Group Q also increased by 1.5. So we take it times 1.5. And group R decreases by 25. So we times 0.75. And then 30, 26, and 24. These are the costs, right? Respectively. So these are the, respective costs of each group. And then we plus together times 5, because this is the amount of money we made in 1 day. So this is the amount of money you made in 1 day. And this is 5 days. We times together, plus together, we get our final amount of money collected in week 2. And then they want the percentage change in the amount taken in fees, right? So remember that to calculate percentage change, oh, I didn't finish this. It's new minus original times 100%. So we have our new value, which is 14100 minus our original 11560 over 11560 times 100%. We then get our answer, round off to 3SF. Okay, so this would be question 2 of the O-level paper.